Hello everyone, welcome back to the F7 revision series. Yesterday we were talking about sale or disposal of assets. As and when the assets are sold, any profit or loss arising should be transferred to profit or loss account. Now there is one more concept. Suppose previously I have revalued that asset. In that case my balance sheet would be showing revaluation surplus as well. Suppose if the asset is sold, then in that case the balance from revaluation surplus should be transferred to the equity shareholders, that is, it will be transferred to the retained earnings. Why am I doing this? Because revaluation surplus is unrealized profit, but as soon as I am selling the asset, it becomes my realized profit and hence I transfer it to the equity shareholders funds, that is retained earnings. I hope this is very clear. Next topic is depreciation. What do you mean by depreciation? It is a charge on assets. I will explain it to you with the help of an example. Suppose if I am buying an asset of 10 lakh rupees. The asset will be used for 10 years. So this 10 lakh is an expenditure for 10 years, right? Should I debit my profit and loss account with the entire amount of 10 lakhs? No, this is not right. Why? Because in my profit or loss account, I will debit or credit incomes and expenses relating to that particular year only. Will I debit or credit any other expenses? No. Hence, what do? We show the asset in the balance sheet and every year a part of the cost is transferred to my profit or loss account. Is that clear? Plus every year the value of my assets reduces. Why? Because I am reducing depreciation from it and I am transferring that depreciation to my profit or loss account. Now there are various depreciation methods. One is SLM, WDV, machine hours, sum of digits method. From your exam point of view, SLM and WDV are important. The others, just go through them. What do you mean by SLM? SLM means cost less residual value divided by estimated useful life. Means what? I am taking my depreciable amount, the amount on which I have to calculate depreciation, divided by the number of years it is going to be used and spread the cost evenly throughout the life of the asset. Next is what? Next is WDV. What do you mean by WDV? Written down value. In that case, you have your cost. Every year you reduce what? Depreciation. Every year you reduce depreciation. Hence you get what? Your carrying value. So now when I will be calculating depreciation for the next year, I will be calculating it on the carrying value and not the original cost. I hope this is clear. Next is depreciation accounting. How do you account for depreciation in your books of accounts? I have taken one example so that the entire procedure is very clear to you. Just go through it. Watch this again if you have missed out on anything. In my example, the asset has been purchased on 1st of January 21. The cost of the asset is 1 lakh. Next, the method of depreciation used is WDV. The asset is sold on 1/1/24. That is after 3 years. Why 3 years? 21, 22, 23 and in the year 24, the starting of the day I have sold it off. The sale price is 70,000. Depreciation is 10%. How do we account for it? First, basically let us find out what needs to be done. Year 1, I have purchased the asset. I have purchased the asset for 1 lakh. Depreciation for that year would be how much? 1 lakh into 10%. The carrying value is how much? 90,000. In the same way, depreciation will be how much? 9,000. Why 9,000? 90,000 into 10%. It is WDV, written down value. In the same way, we calculate for all the 3 years. For year 4, the opening balance is how much? 72,900. But have I used the asset for that year? No. I have sold it off. So my value on the date of sale was 72,900 and my selling price was 70,000, which means what? I have incurred a loss of 2,900. I hope this example is very clear. The calculations are very clear. Now what do I have to do? I have to do the accounting of it. How do I do the accounting of it? I have asset account. On that I need depreciation and I need what? Asset disposal. Let's move ahead with it. In year 1 on 1st of January, what have I done? I have purchased the asset. So asset account debit to cash or bank account 1 lakh. I hope you all have understood. Asset account debit to cash or bank account. In the same year, at the end of the year, what will I do? I will pass the journal entries for depreciation. What is the journal entry for depreciation? Depreciation is an expense. It is a nominal account. Hence, depreciation will be debited. Why? Debit all expenses and losses as per the rule of nominal account. So, what will be the entry? Depreciation account debit to accumulated depreciation account. Why do we do this? Because we accumulate all the depreciation for all the years together. Okay. So, what will be the entry? Depreciation account debit to accumulated depreciation account 10,000. This is for year number 1, right? And here you have what? In your accumulated depreciation account, by depreciation account, right? Double effect in depreciation account as well as accumulated depreciation account. Are there any other transactions in year number 1? No. So what do? We balance the accounts. Here it will be by balance carried down 1 lakh. Accumulated depreciation account, you will carry down the balance of 10,000 and the balance will be brought down in the next year as 10,000. Depreciation account. Depreciation is an expense. So that is why the balance will directly go to profit or loss account. You all will say, what is the difference between accumulated depreciation and depreciation? Why are we transferring this to profit and loss account and why not this? Because depreciation is an expense. Only the expense is transferred to depreciation account. This accumulated depreciation account, this will be reduced from the cost of my asset. You all remember I told you all 2 adjustments. One is I will reduce the cost of the asset, which will come from accumulated depreciation account. Next, it is transferred to profit and loss account, a part of the expense. Hence, depreciation account, we transfer it directly to my profit or loss account. Is that clear? Now, next is the same things continue for the next 2 years also in my asset account because there are no other transactions. For next 2 years, I will charge depreciation. Year amount is brought down. Depreciation for the year carried down 19,000. So, for the next 2 years, my accounts remain the same. Is it clear? What do I do now? You all can just click a picture or take a screenshot of the sum if you all have any doubts. Last is what? I am disposing of my asset. Okay, on 1st of January, let me come to my asset account. What is happening? On 1st of January, I am disposing of my asset. Okay, now in asset account, I have balance of 1 lakh. The depreciation with respect to this is in accumulated depreciation account 27,100. But when I am selling the asset, can I divide 70,000 into asset account and accumulated depreciation account? No. So what do I do in this case? I make a third new account which is known as asset disposal account. What do you do with the asset disposal account? Anything related to the asset that has been sold directly goes to the asset disposal account. Okay. Now the asset that has been sold, the purchase price is how much? 1 lakh. What will I do with it? I will directly transfer it to asset disposal account. Hence on 1st Jan I have credited asset account by what? to asset disposal account 1 lakh. Okay, let me come to my asset disposal account. See, what have I done? What entry have I passed? Asset disposal account debit to asset account 1 lakh. Is that clear? Next is depreciation with respect to that asset. Okay, total depreciation is how much? 27,100. I will do what? I will transfer it to asset disposal account. I hope this is clear. This is a very important part of your syllabus. Okay, here you go. Here you have asset, you have accumulated depreciation. Okay, now what has happened? I have received cash. How much cash have I received? 70,000. So what will be the entry? Cash account debit to asset account. But what have I created? I have created asset disposal account. Hence it will be cash account debit to asset disposal account. What is the loss? 2,900. Losses are always debited, right? So what is the journal entry for sale? Cash account debit 70,000 to asset account. Asset is how much? My asset is 1 lakh minus 27,100, right? How did I get this? It is the cost less accumulated depreciation, right? Cash I have received 70,000, asset I have sold 72,900, balance is what? My profit or loss account, which is 2,900. The exact same calculations we've done here also, right? The initial calculation, see, the loss is 2,900. Okay, so here I go with profit or loss 2,900. Asset disposal account has to close completely. Why? Because I have the cost, I have the depreciation, I have the cash received also. The only difference is what? Profit or loss. I hope this concept is really clear. If you all haven't understood, go back, see it again. If you all find the speed a little fast, reduce the speed of the lectures. YouTube has an option of reducing the speed of the lectures as well. So just be clear with the concept. The examiner will definitely examine you here. Is that clear? Now, the next topic I am covering up is borrowing costs. What do you mean by borrowing costs? Whenever I take a loan, what do I have to do? I have to pay interest. That is known as what? My borrowing cost. Up till now, what were we doing? We were only purchasing the asset. But there can be a second situation as well, right? I am constructing the asset. Is that possible? Yes. So what will be the cost? All the costs incurred until the asset is ready to use. So till the time my asset is ready to use, don't you think I am also incurring borrowing costs? Yes, I am incurring borrowing costs also. So I will also add the borrowing cost to the cost of my asset. But when? That is very important. When will I add the borrowing cost to the cost of my asset and how much? So let's start. First, interest charges on amount borrowed for constructing a qualified asset. The very important part here is what? Qualified asset. What do you mean by qualified? An asset which fulfills all the criteria. Now what is the criteria? Qualified asset is an asset which takes a long period of time to be constructed, which means that at least 1 year it needs time. Okay, at least 1 year to be constructed. In that much time period, what are you doing? You are taking a loan, and on that loan you are paying interest. Okay, so that interest will also be added to the cost of the asset. Why am I doing this? Because that interest is for an asset. So why not add it to the cost of the asset? Why do I debit it to my profit or loss account? Right? Okay. Now borrowing cost to be added to the cost of asset. From when to when will you add the borrowing cost? starting to end from the date used for the construction of the asset. The date you start using the principal amount for the construction of the asset to the date when the construction is completed. Start to end, I will just capitalize the borrowing costs. If construction work is disrupted for extended period, do not capitalize interest for that period. For example, I am constructing a building, I have taken a loan. But what has happened? Suddenly there are heavy rains for some 2 to 3 months. Okay, do you think any construction work will be continued at that point of time? No. So what do? For that much period, I will stop the capitalization of the borrowing costs. Stop capitalization means what? For that much period, I will not add the borrowing cost to the cost of my asset. What will I do? I will debit for that period to my profit or loss account. Is that clear? Okay. Now, next is amount to be capitalized. Amount of what? Amount of borrowing costs. This is a very important part of your syllabus. Okay. Okay. Now, borrowing costs. I have specifically borrowed funds for the construction of asset. I am constructing an industry. Okay. For that I have taken a loan, and for that I am paying interest. How much will I add? It will be the total borrowing cost less investment interest received on idle funds. Suppose I have borrowed 10 lakh rupees, but then I am using only 7 lakh rupees. 3 lakhs I have invested it somewhere. So if I am investing, I am also receiving interest. So interest payable minus interest received, that will be the amount of interest that I will be adding to the cost of my asset. Is that clear? It means what? Interest payable less interest received on idle funds. I hope this is clear. Okay, in this case what was happening? Funds are borrowed for a specific asset. Then next is what? In case where funds are borrowed, generally I have borrowed funds. Okay, I have taken a general loan for my business. I have 2-3 general loans and one specific. For specific, what do you use? You use the situation number 1. But then if you have generally borrowed funds, in that case what will you do? You will use weighted average rate to capitalize. In the case of specific, what was happening? Suppose you had taken, just one second. Suppose you had taken a loan of 10 lakhs. And on that you are paying an interest of 10%. So how much interest you will capitalize? 1 lakh rupees. But now in this case what is happening? You have taken generally borrowed funds. Those funds will either be used for business or for the construction of asset. In that case what do? You do not take 10% directly. You will take a weighted average rate. Okay. How do you take that weighted average rate? Let me explain it with the help of an example. Okay. Now suppose I have 2 loans. 2 generally borrowed loans. Okay, the first loan amount is 500. The rate on which payable is 10%. The next loan that I have taken is 900. I am paying 15% on it. Okay, these are generally borrowed. So in short, I have a total of 1400. Right, the loan taken is 1400. Now tell me, I have used, wait, I'll write it here. The amount used for construction of asset is 700. Okay. As how much am I using? 700. Now tell me one thing. This 700 has been used from 500 or 900? We are very unclear about that. That is why I take both of them into consideration. Okay. How will I take both of them into consideration? By taking average, right? This is what comes to your mind at the very first instance. So how do I take average? 10 plus 15 divided by 2. Right? But this is simple average. We do not have to take simple average. We have to take weighted average. What do you mean by weighted average? Now, Here the amount borrowed is only 500. Here it is 900. Means I have to give more importance to 15% and less importance to 10%. But what should be the importance? The importance should be according to the loan amount. Is that clear? So how do I find out weighted average rate? Weighted average rate will be 10. 10 is what? 10% multiplied by 500. The amount, right? This into this divided by the total amount 1400. Is that clear? Plus I come to this. It will be 15 into 900 divided by the total amount 1400. Is that clear? Now the total of this comes to 13.22%. I hope this is clear. How did I calculate it? I am not using simple average, I am using weighted average. The weight that I am giving is how much? Depending on the loan amount. In this case, how will I calculate? 10 into 500 divided by 1400 plus 15 into 900 divided by 1400. The rate comes to 13.22%. Okay. Now, if loan is used is 700 for 3 months. Okay. So, what will be the amount to be capitalized? How much I am using? 700 into what is the rate I will use? 13.22%. Okay. What should be the amount? 92.54. But am I using it for full year? No. I am using it for how much time? I am using it only for 3 months. So what will be the amount? 92.54 into 3 months divided by 12 months. So just one second, there's something wrong. Equals to 92.54 into 3 divided by 12. There's something. Okay, so how much does it come to? It comes to 23.135. This amount will be capitalized. Capitalized means what? It will be added to the cost of the asset as borrowing costs. So I hope everything is clear. I have covered up maximum topics with respect to your tangible assets. Only one part that I have missed out is IAS 40, that is investment property. It is a very easy topic. Just go through it. Just in case you all have any doubts with respect to that, kindly message me. Leave in the comments, or you can even mail me Mansi Hinduja's Commerce Academy @gmail.com. So have a great day. Enjoy. Bye.